The US Vice President J.D. Vance has left for Greenland with his wife, Usha, on a trip that will now only be stopping at a US military base there. Their trip to the semi-autonomous Danish territory was revised after initial plans caused an uproar in both Greenland and Denmark. Leaders had called the planned visit a provocation following President Donald Trump's talk of US annexation. Here's more on the reactions to that.
Greenlanders have made it clear. President Trump's threats and overtures aren't welcome. An announced visit by the vice president's wife, Usha Vance, to a popular dog sled race was seen as an attempt to pile on even more pressure. That sparked furious reactions from Greenlandic leaders, including outgoing Prime Minister Mutte Beia. He told local media that the very aggressive American pressure against Greenlandic society is now so serious that the level cannot be raised any higher. Denmark's Prime Minister also criticized the trip.
This is clearly not a visit that is about what Greenland needs or what Greenland wants from the outside right now. And therefore I have to say that it's unacceptable pressure that's being put on both Greenland and Denmark in this situation. And it's a pressure that we will resist.
After the outcry, Vice President J.D. Vance announced he would come as well, but said that the visit would be limited to a remote U.S. military base.
Hey guys, it's J.D. Vance, the Vice President, and you know there was so much excitement around Usha's visit to Greenland this Friday that I decided that I didn't want her to have all that fun by herself, and so I'm going to join her. I'm going to visit some of our guardians in the Space Force on the northwest coast of Greenland and also just check out what's going on with the security there of Greenland. As you know, it's really important.
This is where the Vances are set to visit, the Bidufik Space Base. The U.S. military has been stationed there for decades, with radar arrays here forming a vital part of America's early warning system against nuclear attack during the Cold War, and still today. The U.S. has long regarded the vast, sparsely populated island as strategically important, thanks to its location. Greenland sits at a crossroads between the U.S., Canada, the European Union, and Russia. But it's climate change and rising temperatures that have turbocharged Washington's interest. On Greenland itself, melting ice is presenting the chance to exploit the island's massive untapped natural wealth, including minerals critical to the green transition. Warming waters around Greenland and in the Arctic Ocean beyond are also opening up new shipping lanes and new areas for gas and oil drilling. That's attracted Russian and Chinese interest as well. Denmark welcomed the news that the Vances would only visit the airbase, seen as a de-escalation, but it's unlikely that Greenlanders have heard the last about U.S. interest in their territory.
Markus Valentin is a journalist from the Greenlandic Broadcasting Corporation, KNR, and he's joining us now from the capital, Nuuk. Welcome, Markus. Can I ask you, how do Greenlanders feel about this visit from the US Vice President?
Well, the initial reaction was a shock if this was an escalation attempt. But as we've seen that he will only visit the Bidufik space base, there's been a sigh of relief among the population up here because the demonstrations are now called off. It is also, there is a feeling of proudness that all the hard work from the different Greenlanders wanting to make mass protests and the politicians trying to get Trump to back off his plans and J.D. Vance to back off his plans has finally, in some sort of way, worked where they are de-escalating the conflict, at least in the short term, because when I talk to international experts in international politics through the Arctic, they say that this is sort of an escalation also in the long term.
There are reports of US officials going door to door in Greenland to try and find some residents who are prepared to give J.D. Vance and his wife a warmer welcome. Can you confirm that that happened?
I can confirm that happened. I have some sources that was planning the visit, that was trying to set up some visits, and have gotten rejections from everywhere. And we have also heard from different vendors here in Nuuk that people came up to them and said that they wanted to make a PR stunt. They wanted Usha to come and have this beautiful visit where they said, well, she can enter as a guest and pay a ticket just like everyone else. And as far as I have heard, they weren't interested in that.
All right. Do you know if there was any outreach by the US, any attempt at all to coordinate this visit with the Greenlandic or Danish authorities at all?
I'm not aware of if there has been any official talks. Up here in Greenland, we know that there are some people, American citizens, that has worked alongside the administration to invite them to Greenland as a private visit. But as far as how much of an attempt they've had in cooperating with the Greenlandic and the Danish government, it's hard to say. But we know from the Greenlandic politicians, at least, that they are not. They have expressed to the U.S. officials that they are not welcome in Greenland because a coalition government is still in the talks, or were still in the talks. It is now being presented later today here in Nuuk, a new government. But it is seen as, from the Greenlandic perspective, as not a good move from the US to come when there isn't a functioning government.
Right. I mean, Greenland's acting prime minister apparently called this trip a provocation, a demonstration of power, and asked the international community to step up. What do you think he's expecting from the international community?
That's very, very difficult to answer because, as we've seen so far, there's been harsh rhetoric from the Greenlandic side, and also the Danish Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, has chimed in on that and has amped up her rhetoric. We know that the Danish government has been in UN in these couple of days and also talked with other state leaders. And we know in Denmark that they are working as much as possible to get a solution on this and trying to talk, especially with the European partners. But just what it is that the Greenlandic politicians want the other nations to do and actually show in support of Greenland is not very clear as of yet. But when the new government the new government coalition is signed later today in Nuuk, and a new government is soon formally formed, I think we will know pretty soon what it is that the Greenlandic government will expect from the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm. Donald Trump says the US needs Greenland for its national security. He said, quote, America will go as far as we have to go to gain control of the island. And then we've got the Danish Prime Minister saying Greenland is part of the Danish kingdom. That is not going to change. What do the Greenlanders say, Markus?
There's hardly any Greenlanders up here that wants to be part of the US. There is a minority of Greenlanders that want to have a closer ties with the US. And a lot of Greenlanders up here, especially up until recently, wants closer economic ties with the U.S. both in minerals, mining, natural resources, but also in fishing and other trading goods that Greenland can provide. Because Greenlanders have this saying, we are open for business. They don't really discriminate against who they want to work with and trade with. And they see U.S. as a huge trading partner and a huge possibility to have more trade with the U.S. But in the last couple of weeks, as far as how that will change now, as of Donald Trump saying that he wants to annex the country and will go as far as he will, as far as we can to annex the country. This can change, but we are all waiting for the new government to be formed and to see what policies they will implement afterwards.
Markus Valentin, journalist in Nuuk, Greenland. Markus, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.